We're going to talk about power projection now. And this is about assuming your role in culture. And assuming your role, we're going to talk about unity in the body. And we're going to ask that question, what about my church? What about my organization? Our goal here is to assume your position. Now, when we deployed on the Fast Attack Submarine, we deployed in one of two ways. One was a clandestine spy mission. We were kind of like on our own. The other way was in something called a carrier battle group. A carrier battle group is one of the most potent and awesome forces in all of naval warfare. Now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this. A naval battle group, as you can see them right here, they would form themselves into a battle group formation. You've probably seen this on TV at some place. And listen, every vessel in that battle group has a different role. Right? There's guided missile cruisers, there's frigates, there's supply ships. Likewise, in culture, all of us here, we have different roles in this, right? Some of us are running nonprofits. Some of us you're in business. Some of you are in media and education and business. How do we work together? Because we can get all fired up here, and our ships are all going in different directions. How do we unify? I'm going to show you what happens when a Navy battle group actually unifies under one mission and starts to impact culture. Now watch this. Now we know this scripture from Ephesians 4:15 and 16, from whom the whole body being fitted and held together by what every joint supplies, according to the proper working of each individual part, causes what? Growth of the body for the building up of itself in love. Now here it is. When they operate in unity, going in the same direction like you saw there on the screen, they do something that naval warfare calls power projection. Here's what it is. They project power over and into what is otherwise enemy territory. You'll see a naval battle group sit off the coast of a country and literally dominate the airspace 100 miles inland. So, let me ask you a question. Do you want to dominate the spiritual airspace of your city? Then align yourself in battle group formation. Now, let's watch this. I don't want you to, what's at the heart of the battle group? It's the carrier, right? A 90,000-ton war machine. And today I want you to buckle your seatbelts because I want you to actually think of your local church. If you could for a moment, just do it for me. Think of your local church as an aircraft carrier. Now, the planes on deck are of no consequence to the battle, right? It's only as they're trained, equipped, briefed on the battle plan, and launched out into culture that there can be any power projection. The primary purpose of the carrier is not fulfilled by the ship. It's fulfilled by the planes and the pilots. In religious terms, the mission of the people is the mission of the church, right? The mission of the church, not the mission of the people. The mission of the people is the mission of the church. The pilots are launched off, they fly their sortie, they fly their mission, and they fulfill the role of power projection for the whole battle group. So equipped and launched. I want you to actually feel this, though. I want you to come out to the Western Pacific. I want you to feel what it's like to actually have power projection and to be launched off. Wow, how'd that feel? What if we were launching into culture like that? You get beat up, your landing gear gets knocked off. That work rhythm process is a heads-up display for the pilot. That's what we call the scattered church. The scattered church, the dispersed church. This is a church in Minneapolis that's been executing this for about 4 or 5 years. They're launching, the governor of Minneapolis, or Minnesota actually, The governor of the whole state goes there, equipped, commissioned, and launched out. Minnesota Vikings coaches, executives, people at Medtronic, Star Tribune, 3M. You got the picture? Launched into culture. Now, the primary deployment channel, and this is why, I mean, I'm a business person, so if you're going to launch thousands and thousands of believers, we believe that the local church is still the greatest Christian training and distribution system in the world. Now, we don't like a lot of things. You know my story, okay? But God still is using it in amazing ways. This is Peachtree Presbyterian here in Atlanta. Dr. Vic Pence and that church started to really position the church for amazing impact. They used the whole aircraft carrier thing. I'm going to show you something. This is an amazing church. They have people at CNN. They have big media, business, and government, the kind of the who's who here in Atlanta. This is Dr. Vic Pence on the left. That's also Dr. Vic Pence on the right. Dr. Vic Pence got to land on the USS Abraham Lincoln out off the coast of San Diego, spend a day with the captain understanding carrier operations and how they parallel with church operations. And then he got to be launched off. Do you think that pastor's ever going to forget this? So one of our strategies is every pastor is going to be launched off a carrier. It's going to be expensive, but I want you to listen to Vic Pence. I want you to listen to this paradigm shift. One of the most influential pastors in this city.
The Christian life is an adventure like no other. Every day, God is teaching me things that I've never known before. For example, I used to say in sermons, and you may have heard me say this from the pulpit, you know, the most important thing happening in Atlanta this week is not what's going on in those tall buildings out there, or in the science laboratories, or on the fields of the great stadiums of this city. No, the most important thing happening in Atlanta this week is what is going on right now here in this sanctuary. You know, I don't even believe that anymore. In fact, you know what that's like? That's like a football coach during his halftime talk saying to the players, the most important thing happening this afternoon is my halftime talk to you. When obviously the most important thing is how the players play on the field. In the very same way, the 5% that you spend with us at Peachtree is meant to guide, direct, and show you how to live your life out in the world.
Isn't that amazing? Now listen, Vic Pence, he launched the whole aircraft carrier. And just, I keep referring back to Larry wherever he is. One of the daytime news anchors for CNN, sitting there, sleeper cell, unactivated stealth warrior, came up to Vic Pence. I'm a CNN daytime news anchor. I had no clue that God had positioned me for such a time as this. Now, we've been doing this for a while. When you see that happen across the whole platform and thousands of people, the influence of Peachtree Pres, just as an example, is about 150,000 people a day in the culture of Atlanta. So, that's power projection.